Welcome back to LinkQ Plus, everyone. On this channel, I'm 100%ing Breath of the Wild by a bit every day until Tears of the Kingdom comes out, which is today in 18 days. I want to give you a quick update. We are at 99.83%, which means I need 2 more locations in order to 100% the game, given that 100% tracker. One of them is actually the final trial, the final dungeon, which made me realize that we have to defeat the 4 blights again in the refights to actually access that location. And that actually fits perfectly with the theme of today's video. I kind of want to continue talking about something I started yesterday, which a lot of people didn't like, which is understandable because it's actually, I'm surprised that a lot of people also seem to enjoy the thought of it. I talked about my current perspective on Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom and how in the present that Link is probably mostly playing in. He is probably still sealed underground and not really rehydrated. He's probably still in that mummy form. The Ganondorf that we see on official art has the potential to be more so around in the past. Now, I want to emphasize, and a lot of people said this, that there's a chance that Ganondorf does rehydrate again in the present. The game can progress. But this is kind of my thought right now. And in fact, I do also believe that memories in general will kind of return again in a way. And a lot of people don't like that, and I understand. Because memories were probably the most criticized point in Breath of the Wild. A lot of people didn't like the fact that it seems like you are kind of just watching, you're a bystander, you don't have a direct, you don't have control over what happened, and it feels kind of bad. Technically, in video games, you never really have control. Like, if you play and you die, you get a game over, and it's not like the game alters from that. You can just retry. But I still completely understand their concerns and what they mean about it. So before I go into how I think memories can still exist, but be actually more exciting at the same time, let me just quickly explain you what I'm here doing right now. So the gameplay doesn't look super confusing. I will just get a Dragon Horn to make a really long attack potion and then refight those blights. But yeah, memories. I actually talked to Crazy yesterday. He messaged me and my entire Discord in my Tears of the Kingdom channel. They are a smart thinker and basically also are thinking about Tears of the Kingdom theories. In fact, they actually are part of the small development team that made LiveSplit, a very popular software for lots of speedrunners. It's basically the timer that you see most speedrunners use. And they had this idea, and as soon as I read it, I thought this makes way too much sense. Seems like you're onto something here. And basically what they said is that these green lines, these Nazca lines that we've seen, the mysterious big drawings on the ground, could actually be related to the equivalent of Tears of the Kingdom's memories. And this makes a lot of sense to me. If you think about it, the pictures or images that we've seen so far of these lines are, for example, a Molduga. We've already seen some sort of cutscene where this ancient princess is using some sort of laser beam to fire against a horde of Molduga. So that specific image makes sense with one of the potential memories we might see in the game. There's one of the ancient princess herself that could be telling us more about her. There's one of the mysterious dragon man. So a lot of these images, and I could actually extend on this, there's one on this building. It looks very much like about the building. It looks like the structure that rises out of the ground in the Gerudo Desert, which I'm assuming we can still visit in the game itself, but it kind of resembles it. Maybe it tells us more about it. There's one that looks close to the drawing of Ganondorf that Link and Zelda are finding in the cave in the very first teaser. It looks like his horse, so like it definitely resembles his the appearance of him on some sort of horse with the trident. So it fits that we maybe link these drawings to events in the past and have some sort of memory about them. But what doesn't really fit yet is that there is no way that these giant drawings just give us a single cutscene. If you think about it, in Breath of the Wild, memories were all about finding very specific locations in the game by using your Sheikah Slate, and then you would get rewarded with a memory. So there's no way that you put a giant drawing on the ground, you just have to stand on it and see a cutscene. That would be literally a step back from Breath of the Wild. So how can we make memories more interactive, potentially even playable, so that we have events in the past that don't only feel like they are a movie and you watch it and you have no impact on it. And that's what I want to discuss a little bit more right now. So, by the way, if you want really powerful attack food, take 4 bananas and 1 Farosh Horn, throw it in the pot, and you get a 30-minute attack potion, which is really useful for me fighting the Blights right now, which I will also get into because the Blights could be, these Blightberry fights kind of made me think of the ideas I'm about to mention. But sorry for all of the explanations. I think there's a couple ways they can do this. Option number one, Link can literally go into the past. I think this is the one that's the most discussed, because I think a lot of people really want it and a lot of people really don't want it at all. I think the people that don't want Link to be able to go into the past are mainly making the argument that it gets really confusing, it makes all sorts of paradoxes, and it makes for a weird, confusing story. And I absolutely understand that. It's basically guaranteed to do that if this is something we can do. I talked about the fact that maybe even the Zonai Shrines can kind of revert areas of the game back into a past state, specifically because they're on so many interesting locations like villages, the Arbiter's Grounds, the Spring of Courage, places that you would want to explore in the past. And this would probably relieve a lot of people's concerns about the past looking super exciting and interesting, but Link not really being able to go there. And I understand both positions there. Another way to do it is to literally be able to play different characters. If we assume that Zelda falls into the past and we can actually play as her, this would be another way to address this. I know, at this point most people don't believe that's possible, me included, but it would be one way to address it. We could potentially even play more characters. Maybe we can play as the Dragon Man, which could be interesting too. I just don't really see that happening, but that would be one way to address it as well. Another way would be, and this is why I was talking about the Blightberry fights, and this would probably be the lamest way at the same time. In these Blightberry fights, Link is essentially representing these ancient champions, right? Here you are supposed to kind of look like a Gerudo fighter. You get Gerudo gear. It's supposed to be some sort of like spirit test that resembles the fight between Urbosa and this Blight, but this time you're supposed to obviously come out on top. Obviously, I do also need to focus here a little bit, as Thunderblight is not the easiest enemy in the game. But again, if this was the case in Tears of the Kingdom, we just go back in time and we play as Link, kind of resembling the Dragon Man or Zelda. I think that wouldn't really work well at all, and that's probably the least exciting possibility. And then option number 4, and this is the one that I think the least people want, you just watch the memories, you have no impact on them, and you just learn something. If they are then also, again, connected to these giant green lines in the ground, I think that would be really strange. Why would they do these giant drawings just to watch another cutscene, which is Breath of the Wild's most common critiqued point? So I personally believe in that one the least. But let me know what you think. Do you think memories will be back in the first place? Do you think we will actually be able to go into the past as Link, even if this means a bunch of potential paradoxes? Oh, I should probably get rid of this laser. Or do you think we get to actually play as one of those ancient characters? Let it be Zelda, let it be Dragon Man, let it be Ancient Princess. And get to actually play within these moments, for example, defending the kingdom from a huge onslaught of Molduga and so on. I think it doesn't really make sense as well, because I doubt that we would be able to play as Ganondorf, which seems to be part of one of these memories. But yeah, I don't really know how it works. For me personally, let me just say, despite the paradoxes, in my wishful thinking, the coolest way to make both work at the same time, having memories and feeling more interactive, would be if you could watch these memories, then go into the past in that moment and have whatever you do there alter the present you're playing in. And this is exactly, I understand, the concern that a lot of people have, because this would cause all sorts of paradoxes that would be hard to explain. But I think that would be the coolest from a gameplay perspective, that you find these lines, you go into the past, you do something there, and it changes the world you then play in. But let me know what you think. Is the potential of these paradoxes a big turnoff for you?
You may now wield Urbosa's fury far more often.
I don't want to interrupt Urbosa here.
You are the pride of Hyrule, hero. Take care of our princess. I'm leaving that honor in your capable hands.
It's my favorite champion, by the way. Also, Urbosa's Fury Plus extremely powerful for the other Blight fights that I will continue tomorrow. Let me know what you think about this theory between the green lines being connected to memories, if you really don't want memories at all, and also how you think Nintendo could pull off having them in the game while also addressing the concerns from the first game. Do you want to be able to play in them? Do you want to be able to play as the characters in them? Or do you want to be able to literally go there as Link and alter the fate of the present? And that's pretty much all for today. Thank you for watching. Kind of addressing the video from yesterday and the concerns that a lot of people had. Tears of the Kingdom is out in 18 days. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.